What's up? What's up? What's up? Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are tuned in from. Welcome to the BitLab Academy daily stream. My name is Kellam. It's an honor to be here. It's an honor to be here with you, especially every single one of you that has been sitting riding this market through the bear market, having the pump that we had in the first half of the year, you know, almost 80% with Bitcoin, altcoins pumping, having somewhat of dumps all over the place. Market's been frustrating, but when you zoom out and you look at where we're at on the timeline, you look at that short-term holder cost basis, you look at where we're at in relative terms on previous cycles in terms of length of cycle, where we're at as it overlays in relationship to the halving. And we have the biggest week in the history of crypto other than the day the Bitcoin white paper was released and then the first day the first coin traded. This last about 7 to 10 days has been, I would argue, the most impactful time in the history of the digital asset ecosystem. Larry Fink, biggest CEO on the planet for one of the largest asset manager in history, BlackRock. Not only did they apply for a spot ETF, about 3-4 weeks ago now, but they also, have given that stamp of approval on nationally syndicated national television, national broadcast, saying Bitcoin is an international asset. It's like it is, he calls it like digital gold. It's a little different, but like digital gold. He signaled to the world that Bitcoin is an asset that should be something that at minimum should be considered. And in reality, it should be not only considered, but there should be some allocation in every single person on this planet's personal portfolio, whether your portfolio is $7 or $700 million, because it is the best asset in the history of humanity. And in addition to that, what do we get yesterday? Right as we're closing off the stream, we get XRP case, the summary judgment, XRP wins, not a security. Let's say that again, not a security. What does this mean for the rest of the altcoin markets? Because we see this was a case that was between XRP and the SEC. But why did XLM shoot up? We see Cardano had a massive pump. We see Avalanche, Quant. I mean, the whole market. I don't even need to name them. You can look at the market, and it was just, oh man, I'm doing a little Irish jig in my heart. I'm just like, and so much so, I don't know what happened, but the walls turned green. You see this? This is how big this news is, and this is how bullish the market is feeling right now. So again, hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button, ding the bell, join us here. We got a lot of stuff we're going to be covering today. We're going to talk about a little bit what the context means of what happened with XRP, how this can impact the rest of the market, what this means going forward, as well as a lot of TA, a lot of charts, a lot of altcoins, Bitcoin as well. We can never not cover Bitcoin, but we're going to be covering a lot of different things in the market and identify some of the things some of the possibilities of what could be happening here in the near future. So again, my name's Kellam. If this is your first time, I can guarantee you it's not going to be your last time. Make sure you join us here. You can find all my info right there. You can also head right over here to my page, which is at Kellam, KELLYKELLAM. Look for that blue check. Look for the hit logo. Join me here, and then of course, make sure if you we got Mr. Bill Noble on today. You can follow him right here at crypto_noble, and I'm going to be pulling him up here in just a moment, and you can see right here. Make sure you're following BitLab Academy, which is at Academy BitLab. Hit that follow button. Today's a big day, everybody. Hit that retweet button. Hit the like button. You're going to be entered to win. I believe I'm going to be doing dose giveaways today because today marks, that's right, today, July 14th marks the 20-year anniversary of when I basically nearly died, broke 22 bones, was in a coma for a month. Ended up in the cast and crutches for 8 years. I've had probably, from that accident, I probably had 75 surgeries. That's right. And I'm here still standing. This is one of the reasons why with Bitcoin, when the market's down, I'm like, well, I've endured, almost a decade of healing from an accident, so I can handle a couple years of a bear market, because what is a bear market other than preparation for absolute greatness? So we're not going to drag this on anymore. We got our main man in the house, Mr. Bill Noble. How you doing, sir? How you feeling? I see you got a little bit of that green shirt on, but it's a little bit of a mute tone. Does this mean we need to be a little cautious? How you feeling? What'd you make of yesterday?
Well, first of all, I got the bull market apartment set up just in time. So, I was a leading indicator on that. And it's the olive drab for the crypto warriors. It's victory, right?
It's almost like a soldier color too.
That's right. That's right.
Crypto soldiers.
Crypto fought the good fight here. And, to say this is exciting is an understatement.
Yes.
A couple things, one theme that I'm going with is, okay, XRP is not a security. Then what is it? It's money, right? It's money. And if you think about the valuation of like the fiat foreign exchange market, right? And you think about just say the market cap of Bitcoin. So I'm not saying XRP is going to, move to the market cap of Bitcoin. But if you think this XRP rally is over, I would disagree, right? Matter of fact, I think you got 5 days of possible, wild FOMO, because when you get in early cycle bull markets, right, Bitcoin will go and then alts will pop for 10 days. People will get way too excited, right? And then everything kind of comes off and Bitcoin returns to its, it's kind of a dominant position. But again, you start looking at XRP as money. I remember 2017. I remember 2017 when the Bitcoin network would get jammed up, guys would move money around with XRP. Banks could start moving XRP, right? So, it's money. And then I think you got to look at the charts in that context.
I mean, I don't even know what to do right now. I'm so excited. And let's talk about that a little bit, because I agree with everything you just said. And we kind of mentioned it briefly to each other, a little talking point before we were live. And that is how excited we are right now. And especially people that have been waiting, especially those, if you've been in the crypto market, even if you only had $10 in the market, I would say, let's say since, prior to when this allegation came from the SEC, or this charge, as to say, from the SEC calling XRP a security that started this, 3-year lawsuit that just, I mean, let's be honest, it's actually been pretty freaking remarkable to see how, okay, XRP didn't really have incredibly huge bull runs. It was suppressed. But what's remarkable to me is how strong it has held not only the price, but the strength of the community that has endured over this last 3 years. I mean, talk about a victory lap there. I mean, if you've been in the market prior to 2020, throw a like crypto OG in chat. Let us know, because all of us can, all the newcomers to the space can see that, it's a page from a book that everybody can take, and that's patience and also conviction. But you also need to make sure we're anchoring our conviction in diligence and fundamentals, not just hope. So right now the market just got a massive jolt of not only the sentiment from the spot ETFs, but then the Larry Fink talking points about Bitcoin being good, stamp of approval. Now we get the, the next, it's not even a kick in the pants. It's like a rocket that we all just got strapped to. But does this mean we should throw every bit of risk out the window and throw everything in the market right now because everything's about to moon? What do we do right now when we find this? How do we balance the exuberance with strategy?
Okay, good question. So a brief word on Larry Fink, because I think we talked about this. These guys know what's going to happen before it happens. That's why they did the spot ETF all at once. So word was already out on this. And you could tell in the XRP price action that there was that bottom at 47 cents. It just couldn't fall below that, right? So somebody was down there. And Larry Fink knew this was going to happen before it happened. Now, the question is, what do you do now? So I'm sure there's people out there going, okay, XRP's up 77%. I missed it. I would argue no. So frequently what happens when you get these huge moves is that sometimes you can get these like kind of like wick pullbacks in the same day, right? Now, I would argue in alts, you're not going to have alt season. Okay. You're going to have like, alt mania for like 5 days. So like when you get these rushes up and then you get these pullbacks, like, some of that's going on in the AI coins, which I want to talk about if we can. When you get these rushes up and then you get this movement back down, those are your tactical buying opportunities. Now, the key word is tactical, right? If you want to get involved in this, get involved. You also have to take into account this idea of the, instead of a crypto market, a market of cryptos. In other words, once the initial FOMO is done, right, which it probably is, then the market's going to start sorting out which cryptos, which altcoins are going to smoke higher, probably either with Bitcoin going sideways or maybe even with Bitcoin going down. This does happen in equities where, you get different sectors moving and not all at the same time. So like your XRPs, your Avalanche, and your AI coins may just smoke for a week or more. Like I actually think XRP, based on some of the work my group's doing, XRP can make a slow march back to $3. Like not a parabolic, but it can trend back to $3. And that may be irregardless of what's going on in the crypto market or in risk assets. Why? Because it's money. Like not only did XRP win the legal case, but XRP has to be completely repriced. In other words, do we know what the value of XRP is as money? Well, no, but I think we all have an idea of what Mr. Market may want to do with it, right? Like I'm not selling XRP at 77 cents. I'm not.
Well, I mean, especially considering 3 years of price suppression, fuel, weighted down on it because of the uncertainty of which way the case would go, with the hope that the hope is what buoyed it and potentially, sustaining through the bear market and then actually having some sort of upward price moment. Because let's be honest, nobody invests in an asset unless you think it's going to go up. So a lot of people have been holding on. Some people bought higher and have just been holding on. Some people have got in buying the hope. But the fact of the matter is this summary judgment is, I mean, we can't call it 100% in favor of a full-fledged win for XRP, but in reality, I think really what happened there is, and let me know your thoughts on this. I feel like Judge Torres kind of was trying to throw the smallest bone possible, but still throw a bone to the SEC. Say, okay, yeah, it's not a security for everybody except for some of those institutions that you OTC'd them directly to, right? So it's kind of throwing a little bit of a bone, but in reality, if it's been held down this long and it was up in the dollar range, pre-bull market, and now we're not even at $1, I'm not selling XRP from a pump from 45, 46 cents up to 77. No, it's got to get beyond minimum what the highest all-time high has ever been for XRP, and then have some legs up from there. So I mean, yeah, I'm so excited about all this, man. What do you make of the XLM pump that because a lot of people draw the comparison. Jed McCaleb actually came from XRP, and it's a very similar chain, focused in slightly different ways, but very similar. Do you feel like that's a legitimate? I don't want to call it legitimate, but in a way, a legitimate pump that was kind of riding the coattails of XRP? Is there anything that we should make of that or consider?
Okay, so this is like stocks, where like if one catalyst appears in one coin, then the whole sector kind of rallies. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if QNT was next. So when you have something like Stellar, it's kind of confirming two things. One, XRP rallied and it took a sector with it. Okay, so it's kind of like confirmation, right? But it's also telling you that the market is repricing certain coins, right? In other words, everyone's like, okay, crypto pumped. Okay, that's of course we're happy about that. But the market, Mr. Market or Mrs. Market, is saying, okay, now we have this ruling from the government. Now we have to reprice the market. We have to reprice certain things in a big way, right? In other words, in legacy, we used to just say when something was mispriced, we would say the market is wrong. And then when the market turns around and gets itself right, you get an XLM pump. Now, when you have an XLM pump, I'm sure there's a whole bunch of people out there going, I don't believe. Okay, that's logical, but that doesn't mean you couldn't get a ridiculous 5-day rally, because that's what altcoins tend to do at the start of a cycle. They have a bid, but they don't hold the bid, right? But I definitely don't think this is over, and it's not on the charts that it's over. So just think about the market being repriced.
No, I mean, I completely agree with that. Now, you're not going to be able to see this, Bill, but you'll be able to hear me. This tweet right here, Hit Network shared it, and this is from Chad Caff. He says, and this is really the context of the situation everybody needs to be paying attention to. It's looking good. This is what the tweet says, and it says, XRP just won versus the SEC. At least some clarity for alts is the ball is rolling in the right direction there. Bitcoin ETFs on the horizon. Future ETH ETFs, Bitcoin halving approaching, ETH deflationary, inflation coming down, interest rate cuts. Is there going to be QE? I don't think there's going to be QE this year. Maybe some subversive QE that's, cloak and dagger stuff, but I don't think this is probably going to come until 2024. However, the fact that we're building this base right now is so incredible. And the sentiment in the market right now is just, it's incredible. It's I would argue the least risk environment we've ever been in for Bitcoin, because the asymmetric risk, because of the history that Bitcoin's been around, institutions now giving a nod of approval, the lack of available supply, the amount of coins that are in private holding versus on exchange, and the general awareness around the world. In addition to that, crypto's legalized in China. U.S. elections are coming up. Elections tend to be a good year for the markets. So, the context all around feels extraordinary. So for everybody watching right now, remember, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell. But is there anything that we are being blind to right now because there is bullish sentiment? We tend to, when we get very bullish and very exuberant, I don't want to say turn a blind eye, but let our directional and our bullish bias discount other things that we should be paying attention to. Is there anything that it weighs a little heavy against this that's kind of could be a subversive kind of fall through the cracks and really kind of upset the apple cart here, or is the context of everything so bullish it's kind of okay to disregard those things?
One bullish thing that they forgot to mention is DXY cracking.
Yeah,
right. DXY cracked, and I've been a dollar hater and proud of it for a while, right? In other words, the dollar has to be repriced for a debt crisis in the United States. They borrowed $1 trillion since they lifted the debt ceiling. Okay. So, that's absurdly bullish crypto. Larry Fink and BlackRock, they know it. Now, what can put a lid on crypto? Equities are ridiculous, right? Equities may try to rally from here, but I think equities are plus or minus a month from being done. Now, I also think equities are plus or minus a month from kind of a nasty correction, which could provide you with an opportunity in Bitcoin. Best case. Worst case, if all risky assets get smacked, that's going to mean you don't want to be buying the top of Stellar. You want to be tactical. Now, at the end of the month, there's the Fed. Okay. Now, the Fed's looking at equities going, it's looking at crypto going, yay. And they're like, we don't want this. This is not going to bring inflation down from 4 to 2%. So if you missed it, it's okay. You want to trade alts tactically, by all means. I got the charts. ETH is going to outperform Bitcoin, and then probably ETH is going to spike the way Solana and Avalanche did, because after these alts get done spiking, everyone's going to sell the alts and buy ETH, and rightly so. So, don't forget that the Fed is in 2 weeks, and he's not going to be happy. He's not. So,
well, I mean, also, you know, on that note, you know, we had Caleb Frenzen on yesterday. We were talking a little bit about all these metrics. And on the one hand, we want to see CPI data coming in under, and the bias part of ourselves says, well, it's under, could be a pause or even a rate cut. That's not going to happen because, you know, one of the interesting, especially a rate cut's not going to happen because they tend to move. We have data that is lagged from the actual truth of what's happening, right? And then in addition to that, the Fed lags the data, right? So it's like, in addition to all this, we see the CPI numbers down. And everybody that is watching right now, don't worry, we're about to jump into a bunch of charts, Bitcoin, ETH, and a number of alts, XRP, XLM, Avalanche, a bunch of stuff. So stick with us here. We just got to get through this context and then get into the charts. But we're also seeing jobs go up. We're seeing, you know, what is it? Not profits, payroll, whatever. The numbers are going up in sectors that, as a humanitarian, feels great. More people are working and pay rates going up. But on the flip side of that, I feel like what the Fed's really waiting on happening. Okay, inflation's coming down. Now we still need to squeeze the economy and get those jobs numbers down and get the increase in pay down. And it's because they want to prevent them, you know, having a reduction in cuts or a pause in cuts or a reduction. And then all of a sudden having inflation come back up again because everybody's getting paid and everybody's working. So there's a lot of buying power. So they're trying to make sure that and this is something I think a lot of people aren't paying attention to when they're looking at the data. That's the CPI down. That means everything's good with the FOMC. But in reality, the FOMC is juggling this nature of trying to also control the buying power so the inflation doesn't go right back up as soon as they start reducing rates. So do you have any thoughts on that?
Yes. So when it comes to altcoins, you know, you gotta be like a creature in the woods. You know, when the blackberries and the raspberries sprout and get ripe, you got to eat as many as you can. So you gotta feast and you got to get your berries while you can. Okay. Now, when it comes to the reason is because, like I said, we're enjoying this altcoin pump, right? Jerome Powell isn't. Jerome Powell is not. So, you know, you got to trade altcoins in the beginning of the cycle. You got to buy it when it's down, like XRP at 47 cents. You know, in some cases, you can buy it when it's up, but try to get it when it's dipping. And, you know, when it comes to inflation's at 4%. They wanted it too, right? And the equity market is leveraged buying power, because if it just keeps going up, people can borrow against equities and pay $12 a pound for steak or whatever, right? So how does inflation come down? And there's also, you know, there's Fed history of the Fed pausing too early on inflation and then having to go ballistic later. So, you know, again, early cycle is about trading. You know, I refer to it as kind of P&L destruction. It sounds negative, but it just means, you know, buy it when it's down, sell it when it's up. You know, each spikes to 2,300 because of massive FOMO 5 days from now. Take profits, right? You know, XLM, XRP, you know, XRP goes to $1.20. You know, maybe XRP can run, but maybe XRP is the only one that can run. And everything that's following XRP falls, right? QNT didn't move. QNT on support, some debatable charts. I have a good one, but it's like, you know, and the AI coins, right? Like, you know, the Fed tightening is not going to stop AI. The Fed tightening is going to move the AI train from, you know, equities that are smoking what they always smoke over there, you know, the bullish hookah, and it's going to move over into crypto, I think. So, you know, the Fed being out there is kind of like the boogeyman is what you have to build a trading strategy around.
I definitely agree with that. And I just want to say, I think now's the time, Bill. We've been talking, we've been sharing all the context, and I can feel everybody in the background just going, I want to see them charts. So why don't you get your charts ready? And while you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and throw it right here. Everybody, make sure you're following Bill right here at crypto_noble. He shares all kind of, just wonderful content on a daily basis, and he's got his own YouTube stream as well. You can also check him out here at Notorious Bill. He's basically a brother, a family member of the channel. We have him on nearly every Friday. Make sure you're also following BitLab Academy's page right here at Academy BitLab. Hit the retweet, hit the like. On today's, when we do the spinny wheel, I made Friday a lot bigger to incentivize everybody to share today's post. You're entered to win. We're going to be drawing at the end of the show after we do all the TA. And then, of course, make sure you're coming over to your main guy right here, Mr. Kellam. Follow my page here, and I only do this to make sure you guys aren't following the scammers are out there. Look for the blue check and the hit logo. And now I think it's time. If you're all ready, hit that one. Throw a 1 in chat if you're ready for some TA. We're gonna be breaking it down. And special shout out to Mr. Matt C. $100 super chat says, on behalf of the BitLab fam, thank you, Bill. Thank you, Kelly. Your help and guidance is greatly appreciated. Thank you, Matt C. Big love and appreciation to you. Thank you very much. We really appreciate it. I think now it's time to break it down.
Okay. This is your market update. So Tom DeMark's work, this is like the original quant TA, right? And part of what his system will do is draw automated support and resistance points, which is great when you have these like insane pumps. So XRP on the weekly chart has a DeMark resistance point at 84. So you FOMO through it, and then it comes back down to 77 and change, or whatever it is. Now, with this, sometimes it can pay to buy it just below resistance in case it goes through. That said, if you get a weekly close above 84 cents, mark my words, it's on in XRP, okay? Now, here's why. You look at XRP monthly, okay? Like, I know everyone's showing the huge pump on Twitter on like the 90-minute chart. Let's look monthly, okay? DeMark will count a trend. You see how this went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 at the bottom? Well, guess what? We're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. And we could have 6, 7, 8, 9. You could have 4 months of up in XRP. And if XRP turns into what I call a one coin market, it can go. Okay, now that said, okay, there's a DeMark monthly resistance point at $1, right, and 1 cent. Now, this is relevant because if you break 84 cents, you're probably going to trigger a break of $1. In other words, whatever triggers, and this is something that this is old school TA, right? One breakout triggers another. So if you close above 84 cents, there may be reason to just buy the absolute mini dip next, right? Period. Now, you guys have the golden pocket here. I'm going to let you go over that chart. Again, any way you draw this XRP went right to resistance, dips, and now the question is, what do you do? And I think the thing you do is simply you buy the dip until proven wrong. It's not a bull market until you can buy a dip and make money. Speaking of that, here's Bitcoin 4 hour. Again, another DeMark point. Bitcoin bursts through, comes back, retests it. 31,200. So see Bitcoin above 31,200, you know that Bitcoin is good, right? Don't underestimate what big boy can do, right? In other words, I know it feels like a green light for alts, right? I think what it really is a green light for institutions going, okay, we don't have to worry about this guy Gensler as much as we can. We can start to get involved in crypto. This would be like,
let me ask you a question about that though. One of the things that I've been sort of ruminating on the last, since yesterday, it's been a long, it's been a long 18 or 20 hours since the news came out, really trying to come up with the context in our minds and how it really, how it's all speculation, but that's what we do, right? We stack different speculative sort of probabilities together, and the more experience we have, the better we do at that to make smart investment and trade decisions. So with XRP, which is not Bitcoin, XRP's case with the SEC not being dismissed, but coming to an actual positive conclusion, being listed basically not as a security. Do you feel like there's any institutional pressure, negative pressure on Bitcoin and that's been reduced or removed in the sense that, like, okay, even though XRP is separate from Bitcoin, because XRP is now also labeled not a security, does this give any incentive for institutional buyers to pile more into Bitcoin, even if they're not interested in XRP? Or partially, it's a kind of a two way to think about it. Partially because XRP not being a security buoys the market as a whole, but also separate from that, it also gives a little bit of incentive and removal of uncertainty in that the judgments, the DOJ, Department of Justice, is not 100% every single person in the DOJ being in the pocket of big banks, gives some incentive of security of investment, investing in even other assets like Bitcoin and the digital asset ecosystem. Is that something that comes into play here, or is it's all tied together anyway? So this is just why everything is feeling positive sentiment.
Okay. If you're running a mutual fund or a hedge fund, kind of a bunch of stodgy old guys in suits, you no longer have an excuse to not buy Bitcoin. And this could include guys like Ray Dalio, right? Bridgewater, guys who have not made big public announcements. There's no excuse anymore to not be involved with regulators basically being told to go get bent, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what's happened. So what is everyone's excuse? Like, hedge fund A, Vanguard, Fidelity, they own it, they want it. And now we're like, ooh, can we afford to not be involved? So it's a type of monkey see, monkey do institutional FOMO. Like, even if they don't know what XRP is, they don't know. They're like, oh, well, guess this little teeny weeny whatever coin is not a security. What are they going to do to stop Bitcoin? What are they going to do to stop ETH? Like, how funny is it? Like, think about how this works. And guys at high levels notice, right? I talked about this where you had NFTs crashing, right before this turned. That is market history in its essence. There's revulsion and everybody goes, oh my God, it's over. And then boom. That happened with the .com crash, on and on. Real estate, 2008, right? Of course, crypto moves faster. There's no excuse not to be involved, which is why the XRP case, yes, it's good for altcoins at a tactical level for 5 or 10 days, but it's eventually going to wind up, really giving the green light, on the big boys, particularly since, the other thing is what rationale is there for buying S&P or NASDAQ when, like the majority of the altcoin space hasn't done anything, Like, yes, huge pump. Well, not in QNT, not in the AI space. XRP is up 77%. And as in equities, XRP is now, it's like, now it's the market leader. And then, it may take turns. Like, XRP will go up, Bitcoin will sit still. XRP will sit still, Bitcoin will go up, right? And then ETH will probably fit in there somewhere. It'll probably be a 3-tiered, one goes, the other two sit, etc. So no excuse not to be involved, and think of it as a market of cryptos rather than the crypto market. They're going to move. Yeah. They're going to move one at a time, like a relay race, right? One runner runs, passes the baton, the other runner runs. That's how it's going to work.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. I'm still processing the absolute whirlwind of change of not just the sentiment of the bullish bias people in the space, but the market as a whole. There is just such a jolt of encouragement's not even the right word. It's just, removal of lack of clarity. It's not full clarity yet, but it's a substantial removal of a good amount of lack of clarity within the space. And you know what? We've been persisting to the upside with Bitcoin and the majority of the market, the crypto market this year. We've had some pullbacks, but we have to remember, if we're having higher highs and higher lows, then what is everybody so worried about when we get a 8 to 12% drop and we were up 80% this year? So with that being said, let's keep going on. Let's go through some of these coins that we're looking at. Ethereum, Bitcoin, whichever ones kind of come to mind, and let's try to get through a bunch of TA for all these wonderful community members we have watching here. And again, everybody that is here, I do appreciate it. We both appreciate you being here, and a big congratulations for those that have been sticking through all of the frustrating parts of the market. This is a gift that you have now. This is a reward, is being here in the doldrums so that you can reap the benefits at harvest. You know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and dive into this TA.
Okay, so with ETH, you've been in a tight range. So, over here, ETH goes above the range and everyone gets excited and then they drop it. And then ETH spends a whole bunch of time below the range and everybody's bearish. And then ETH comes and sits in the range and everybody gets bored. Right now, the way I see this happening is, ETH is on the 5 of the 1 through 9, right? These conditions are like, each time you see a little number, it's like the low, the high is higher than the high 4 days ago, and it gets a little number. It's complicated. But you just say to yourself, all right, the first part of a trend is 1 through 9. So ETH right now on a daily chart is at a 5. That's kind of logical. You get some sort of pullback at resistance. But then again, you got to ask yourself, what happens if ETH blows through resistance, and how emotional can that get? So it may be worth it, if I could get a mini dip today, and even though the candle, sometimes on these, like, when you get these like 10-day, oh my God, FOMO moves, sometimes I was like, all right, I'll wait for the dip. Well, the dip is shorter than you think, right? It's like a day or half a day. Then when it really FOMOs in, goes up, people are like, okay, I can buy strength now, or I can buy a tiny dip and you get a bigger one. So it's like tiny dip, massive FOMO, crypto Twitter on fire. And then it comes off because either Bitcoin rallies or equities correct, or Jerome Powell says, enough of this.
Yeah.
Right. So eat the berries while you can, but it looks like ETH is going to run stops. It's going to be a stop fishing exercise on the upside. Now, the other thing you have to remember about ETH is, ETH may go up and then ETH may sit and go sideways. Why? Statistical analysis done at another firm by a Wall Street economist showed that there's a very strong connection between ETH and precious metals. Precious metals go up, ETH goes up. It's that simple. Silver and gold were rallying. I know it's a legal thing, but silver and gold were rallying 3 days before ETH moved. Not an accident. Not an accident. ETH will follow precious metals, right? If you look at this silver chart, okay, I got a lot of Elliott wave drawn here. You can get very emotional in precious metals. And that could put a floor. Like, this is the new concept I think people need to start thinking about, right? Like, you may get a range reset. You may jump up in all these things, but there's going to be a new floor underneath it because of things like this. Bitcoin dominance, again, what does XRP mean for Bitcoin? Well, what's going to happen is this is Bitcoin dominance. This is like a regression channel, and it's probably going to look like it did down here or over here where, Bitcoin dominance goes crashing through. Everybody goes, it's alt season. And then Bitcoin turns around and goes up. Bitcoin goes to 35, right? Or Bitcoin sits still while alts correct. Either way, don't think this is over for Bitcoin. I see a lot of stuff on crypto Twitter where everybody's like, vanquishing the Bitcoin maxis who said everything was a security. Don't get emotional. Just don't, right? Also go up for 4 or 5 days. Bitcoin will underperform, and then Bitcoin will be back. Okay, ETH versus Bitcoin.
So wait, I'm gonna pause you there. Do you think, with that statement, do you feel like there's a change in sort of general sentiment, not your own judgment? Do you feel like there's any sort of adjustment that we need to make about our consideration of what Bitcoin dominance might do in the near term because of the altcoin sort of exuberance right now because of the case being settled with not settled, but positive summary judgment not being a security for XRP? Do you feel like there's a possibility of like the total 2, total 3 really performing better than we would have said, let's say, a week ago compared to Bitcoin? Or do you feel like the Bitcoin dominance will kind of cycle out like it is right now, a little bit to the altcoin market, and then we're going to see Bitcoin, when it starts ripping, really kind of outperforming the rest of the market again for in the near term?
Right. I think that's exactly correct. When you have early cycle behavior, the way I like to say it is alts can't hold a bid versus Bitcoin. That doesn't mean alts can't smoke higher for 10 days, but they can't really hold a bid. So if you have ETH versus Bitcoin, you know, this went straight down. You had the DeMark 13 bottom, which is, you know, another big signal that a trend is over. You know, ETH confirmed that the trend was over, you know, the day before, right? The day before the judgment, ETH confirmed the 13 bottom. You smoke higher, you have a 3. That means you can have 6 days of ETH outperforming Bitcoin. I mean, you could have, you know, massive FOMO in ETH. And I think one of the things that people are going to do is they're going to pick the alts that they like, and they're either going to park money in those alts, or after those alts do a massive pump, they're just going to move that money into ETH or Bitcoin.
And, you know, we can see there too, everybody, if you don't use TD Sequential or any of DeMark's work or BitLab Trading Stack or RSI, if you use nothing else and you're only looking at the price action on the chart, you can see on this chart clearly a setup that was brewing for, you know, days and days and days. It looks like about 2 weeks where we got that initial drop before that large bullish engulfing. And then when we had the pullback into the most recent dip that we pumped out of, we have a higher low there, which wasn't a setup that happened in the matter of, you know, a 4-hour candle or a 1-day candle or even a 1-week candle. It took about 2 weeks to develop this. So this shows the setup was brewing. It was getting in position before the XRP news came out. Now, why does this happen? There's no way to really describe this, but people will tell you when they're professional analysts, show me the charts and I'll tell you the news. And there's a real truth to that. There's a strong correlation of setup somehow almost, you know, it's kind of like the term, if anybody's heard, reading the tea leaves. There's things that are developing in the back end that somehow, whether it's time fibs or the way nature works, or maybe we're all living in a simulation, who knows what it is, who cares why it is. The truth of the matter of fact is charts show you the setup brewing before it happens if you pay attention to some of the most basic things like volume and price action. And from there, then when you add on DeMark's work or the BitLab Trading Stack or RSI or the other things, then you get further signal that supports or denies your thesis about where price could go. So I just want people to really take a stronger look at the price action on charts rather than just saying it's because of a divergence or it's because of this news. No, it's not. It's all of the above.
Right. I mean, when you have psychology, right? Like, you know, bull markets are just as hard as bear markets.
Yeah.
Like, you know, NFTs, you know, they washed everybody out right before it turned. Okay, ETH versus Bitcoin, you know, it went straight down. Then you're like, oh, here's some hope. And then they bored you to death, right? This is what happens when you transfer from consolidation to trend. I mean, you know how hard it is to do content 2-3 days a week, every day. When you got little candles like this, it's like, oh, let's look at the ETH versus Bitcoin chart. What's happening? Nothing. So the market can bore you out of trades, which is why, you know, patience, time in the market versus market timing, you know, the market will bore you out of trades in bull markets, because that's exactly what happened here. And then all of a sudden, you know, ETH is off to the races. So and then on tea leaves, you know, I'm working with a professional tea leaf reader. You know, I used to be the tea leaf reader in Wall Street days. Now I've got a professional tea leaf reader named Toby, and you want to go check that out. What she said about both ETH, about both XRP and Solana, you know, back in June, because at the end of the day, as you said, we're understanding a market as a natural force. Human beings are natural, you know, even if they program computers, it's still done by humans. It's a human natural force like the weather. So if you think about it that way, if that's all you know how to do is look to the left and see where support and resistance is, if you understand the humanity behind the market, if you just acknowledge that, you won't look at a chart and go, I don't understand that. Like, this is what happened in crypto all the time. Like, here's a chart. Here's something fancy. You have to listen to me because I'm going to make you feel stupid. Right? That's what you're trying to fix with BitLab. It's like, here's the education. But in many cases, right, you shouldn't ever feel stupid, because every single trader in this market, just like me and everybody else, we all have something in common. We all started on day one. We all had a day one, and we have all bought the high and sold the low. So give yourself a break.
Yeah. If you want to ask, if you ever want to ask yourself something, don't ask, am I being stupid or am I being smart? Say, am I working hard enough? Can I work harder? Or is this just because sometimes there's a situational thing that you can't predict a bear market, or sorry, not a bear market. You can't predict a black swan, but because of that, you can remind yourself that you can always remember that risk management and capital protection is an absolute necessity in the market because of those black swans, especially the further down the coin market cap rankings you go on an asset. Because Bitcoin, yeah, you can have a black swan like FTX. You could have the cascading liquidations and failures we saw in 2022 with all the different projects post Luna, right? However, when you go further down the list, it still even happens on Bitcoin, not as regularly now, but when you go further down the list, there's a lot less liquidity in the market caps of those assets that you may be, thinking you're investing in, but in reality, we have to remind ourselves we are degenning in a big way. So the further down the list you go, the tighter your risk management has to be, because somebody can come in and fat finger, meaning accidentally hit a market buy or sell, or on purpose do a market buy or sell, and move the market, in a matter of 10% in a matter of minutes. I remember I accidentally did this. I didn't do it on purpose. I accidentally moved a market like 18% because it was a very small micro cap coin, and I accidentally I didn't realize it was a market buy, and when I bought, it was like a $7,000 buy. It wasn't even a huge buy, but because I market bought and there was lack of liquidity, the spread was so large that it basically just it basically started a rally, and I didn't mean for that to happen. So if the market was in a setup that actually looked like a short for somebody else, and then all of a sudden they just they're on 17x leverage or something ridiculous on a market cap, which on a small micro cap coin, and then all of a sudden the market moves opposite direction very quickly. You got to have capital protections in place. So I just kind of sidetracked you there. Let's get back to the TA. Sorry about that.
Okay, so you also got to keep in mind you got a 13 top in S&P. So money is coming out of equities and into MicroStrategy, Galaxy Digital, right? This whole idea that AI is gonna change everything right this minute is wrong. They've priced in a lot in equities. And I mean, Galaxy Digital, MicroStrategy, if you look at these stocks relative to their all-time high, the FOMO in stocks is either over now or will be ending over the next month. This is going to underpin the bid for crypto because, again, where are hedge funds going to go? Dollar index, things happen in threes. Technical analysis textbook, page 90, right? Down, dollar index, down, dollar index, crash, right? In other words, it's not Argentina. The dollar doesn't have to go to zero, right? It doesn't. But it can start a very sharp downtrend. It can just trend. That's foreign exchange is a trending market. Trend and trend and trend and trend. And this is what's going to put a floor underneath Bitcoin, gold and silver, and thereby ETH. Right now, does anything go straight in one direction? No. Right. The dollar index will probably come up here, retest this old low, and then fail miserably at some point, probably post-Fed. Right. What will happen is the Fed will hike rates and talk tough. I mean, the Fed doesn't hike rates. Forget about it. The dollar's going to vanish. Right. But if Fed hikes rates and talks tough and the dollar doesn't go up, forget about it. See it. So at some point, maybe, I don't know, maybe August, maybe September. Okay. Dollar's going to vanish. And that's going to underpin crypto. It's going to put a floor underneath crypto, even if there's event in equities in October. Now, interest rates, 10-year note. I know, not altcoins. I'm going to get to it in a minute. But you want to be watching 381 on US 10Y. Okay, there was a triangle. They broke out. They came back in. Great. That's what helped crypto just friggin' moon. It goes back in this trend line and stays in there. You're going to have a 5 to 10 day show in altcoins for the ages. But if interest rates do start coming back up, okay, you can go from 381 to 4.5%. And that's going to give you a very chunky dip in crypto. And it's going to make you feel stupid if you wait and buy altcoins 10 days from now because you missed out, right? Like, you know, it's not a bull market until you can buy a dip and make money. It dips, you can buy it and you make money, then you know you got your 5 to 10 day trade. But when it's all said and done on the FOMO side, interest rates, okay? Okay, AVAX, security token functionality. Larry Fink wants security tokens because they want liquidity in things like real estate, venture capital. There's no liquidity in parts of legacy. They want to tokenize it. You can do that on Avalanche. Avalanche couldn't even get to the bottom of its regression channel off the Gensler circus. So if Avalanche can get to 1884, and it could probably do it in 5 days, if, you know, people, you know, like you have this resistance cluster here, you break through it and you kind of return. You just return to the blue line. And if, you know, the blue line at, you know, 15, 18 holds, then, you know, it's like the risk reward is, you know, you put the stop down here, not investment advice, and your, you know, your upside is 1884. Now, on the flip side, you have ApeCoin, right? So, you know, metaverse, Bored Ape crash, you know, does this look interesting here at the midline of a regression channel? Not really. Now, as soon as I say that, it'll go to $3, but there are it's a market of cryptos, not a crypto market, right? So I'm looking at AI, right? I mean, this AI, the fact that no one wants to do a decentralized AI trade, to me, is absolutely insane. Like, all you need is a positive catalyst or announcement from one of these coins, or just a general idea. I mean, you know, Elon's released AI. I mean, you know, what's Silicon Valley got going on these days that's not fully priced in? You know, you got threads on Instagram. I got to get involved in that along with everybody else in social media, but it's out, right? And then the next stunt that they have is a Zuckerberg-Musk fight. That's like, okay.
Oh, you know
really?
What's funny about that? Especially with your pulling up FET right now, which is fetch.ai. You're talking about AI coins, the AI narrative, not only in crypto, but also in the broader traditional market as well. I mean, it's a massive, in some ways, some people would argue that the AI landing on the global markets, landing on the technological innovation that it has now being shared publicly, likely will have a bigger, more than likely have a bigger impact than crypto. But do you think on that narrative with the Musk and Zuckerberg fight, do you think there's a real potential that they'll fight? And the reason why I ask that, because we're talking about AI, do you think there's a possibility that they actually have some sort of augmented reality or AI version of the fight? Maybe this is all a big PR stunt pushing towards that. I've heard somebody say that, and I was like, you know, that's kind of an interesting thought, because that would be a huge AI push if they did it in a good way.
Yeah, I mean, a metaverse fight between these two guys would make sense. I mean, you know, you can get hurt. It has George St. Pierre, who's kind of like, you know, back when I was massively into UFC back, you know, 10 years ago, you know, he said, you know, I don't know if these guys should be risking getting their blocks knocked off. Okay. But the loser of the fight, whether they have it in AI or it doesn't matter where they have it, the loser of the fight has to get crypto on its platform right away. Because if you lose the fight, it's going to be embarrassing. It's that simple. I mean, maybe if it's a split decision, but if one guy goes in the ring and it's a one-punch knockout, you know, that's kind of embarrassing for the other guy. Yeah. So the loser has to adopt crypto. on its platform, period.
But to change the narrative immediately, yeah.
Yeah, they have to immediately change the narrative because, you know, I mean, I would personally, I mean, I'm not going into the ring to fight, but back in the day when I could, if I got knocked out by a Silicon Valley executive, you know, it would take my manhood a while to recover from that. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Right. I would have to like throw myself into crypto and get people, you know, rallying behind me and supporting me, even though I lost. Right. Especially if Zuckerberg loses. Not exactly the most popular guy. So if they lose, you know, Threads can become a crypto payment network. You know, you got AGIX on a weekly chart. So, you know, remember how I told you, you know, you get the 1, yeah, that starts the trend. Then you get to 2, that's a nice green candle. I mean, how about 7 up weeks in AGIX? I met these guys at Consensus. I don't have a position in this or any coins in their ecosystem. I saw them present at a Cardano meetup. And I think if you want to trade Cardano, you kind of trade it through this AGIX ecosystem. I don't have the position because I want to be able to talk about this and any of the coins that they release. They're going to have a stable coin. They're going to have metaverse. I mean, AGIX could become like the ETH of AI. And I don't understand why no one is interested, because you have huge FOMO in equities and nobody here. And even stuff that's kind of crappy, like the graph, right? Supposedly an AI coin, according to ChatGPT. I mean, it's sitting on some moving averages, boring everyone to death, right? Like, oh, there was a failed rally here and they dumped it to a 9 bottom. Then there was a failed rally last week, but have they dumped it? No. It's sitting on these moving averages. These are DeMark smart moving averages. Okay. It's called a bird on a wire getting ready to fly. Now, I don't know how much the graph can fly, but again, you know, what did you just get paid to do? What did the market pay you for? The market paid you in AVAX to buy the dip. It paid you to buy it when it was down. It paid you to buy it when it was boring, because you got boring, rally, dip, explosion. Bull markets are not easy. So again, not investment advice. You know, maybe I got the wrong sector, because again, that's another thing that happens in bull markets. Like, oh, you know, how many people own Stellar? Nobody, which is why it went up. The stuff that no one owns.
Everybody in the chat right now, if you own Stellar, throw a 1 in chat. I know that I used to own Stellar, but I sold out of, I mean, I sold my Stellar, must have been 2019 or so it was a long time ago, but yeah, it's interesting that coin has its own little cult following, but it's not very large. But you also look at the market cap; it's held pretty well over the last couple of years. So I was actually surprised. I don't want to say surprised, but it was thought-provoking to see it perform as well as it did yesterday. I mean, it wasn't in parity with XRP, but it performed. I think it outperformed everything else. It was XRP and then XLM and then even Cardano, which is still under that uncertainty cloud with the security token questionability because of XRP. I think. Do you think that a lot of those coins, like for instance Phantom and Cardano, pumped out of the hope that they may follow the same sort of path and maybe more quickly than XRP did, potentially being slated as not a security, or why do you think those other coins pumped? Because they weren't part of that judgment.
Right. Okay. So, I mean, the SEC knew they were going to lose the XRP case. I mean, really, that was the worst kept secret in the market. Like everyone's like, oh my God, it is the greatest day in the history of crypto, at least in the modern era, probably. Right. But I wasn't surprised. Right. I knew they were going to lose. The SEC knew they were going to lose. Right. That's why they went after Coinbase and Binance. Right. Because Coinbase and Binance are going to have to prove 67 cryptocurrencies are not securities. So rather than sue the projects, they shifted strategies to suing the exchanges. And now it's more complicated. Now, you got the rally because, some judge is going to be like, really? The XRP case, I think, I'm not a lawyer, but, I'm told the XRP case is not precedent when it comes to Solana or any of these other coins that have been attacked. right? It's XRP being saved just means XRP is not a security. It doesn't mean the rest of these altcoins
know what I mean?
are not a security.
It's kind of like a good metaphor for it is like if I have a I don't know, a fast food spot, and you have a fast food spot, and we're across the street from each other, and we both get charged by the Department of Health of having bad beef, right? If they come and check my beef and my beef is good, and I get the clean bill of health, I get the A rating or whatever it is, it doesn't mean that you bought beef from the same spot. You could still absolutely have terrible beef. And it's kind of similar with what we're seeing right now. And I hope everybody realizes this. There is some level of legal precedent that has likely been set, but it doesn't mean it's an absolute, everything is going to get a stamp of approval from a judge. Because it also depends, we have to remember this, it also depends on each case, which judge sees it in combination or in concert with what is the data behind the case that they're looking at. It could be a more crypto averse judge, as well as worse data that they have to contend with. But it could also be a more crypto favorable judge that is looking at much worse data. So even though they're favorable, this other project may not, it may not pass the tests in the same way. So there's a lot of variables that go on into the next. And I don't know if it's going to be a year. I don't know if it's going to be 3 months or 3 years. Do you have any thoughts on that? Do you feel like this is going to accelerate any of the other cases that are in process right now with SEC? Or do you feel like it's still going to be the same laggard out, slow, par for the course government sort of process?
Okay, well, in general, the judiciary branch in the United States seems to be the only one that's functioning, right? Yeah. The judge in Missouri told the government where to go stick it on spying on you overtly in social media, right? Yeah. This judge says, you guys, this is what they said effectively. They said the SEC is coming to me, the judge, to enforce a law or a regulation that doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Now, is the SEC going to try again? Sure. Right now, you just have to read the charts. Right? This is Cardano. We all want Cardano to go up, right? Because there's a lot of people who own it, but you were better off with XRP than Cardano, something we talked about. Cardano is at resistance in a big way, right? My analyst Toby came up with this. So, okay, if Cardano breaks out, amazing. Let's go, right? But if Cardano doesn't break out, then people could be selling the rallies because after all, Cardano is back where it was when, Gensler dumped it. So maybe people go, okay, I'm rotating out of Cardano. I'm going to XRP. I'm rotating out of Cardano. I'm going to ETH. Solana mooned, I think, because it's the Solana phone. It's the phone, right? I mean, if they're releasing a phone, wherever they're releasing it, what are they going to do? The phone is popular overseas, and you read news articles. Everyone in Japan's got their Solana phone. I think people in America are going to want the Solana phone. That's just my sense of it, right? So who's got a value proposition, right? Who's got a value proposition? Of course, Cardano has a long-term value proposition, but are people going to want to rotate into Bitcoin? Just keeping in mind that, even though it's amazing for alts, it's amazing for the crypto space. Early days of a bull market, alts normally don't hold a bid versus Bitcoin. Bitcoin is still king. And, if there's no Cardano breakout, then you have to trade the charts, right? If you get 5 days of FOMO in equities, 5 days of FOMO, Cardano breaks out, but then comes back down below 38 or 40 cents. I'm not trying to hate on Cardano. I'm just saying, expect rotation. Expect, one coin or one group to move. Like, Avalanche seemed to me to be one of the bigger movers like today because there's no SEC overhang. Like if you were a hedge fund, you're like, oh, well, we can't buy an altcoin because we're afraid of the SEC. Now we're not afraid of the SEC. So any coin that's not on the naughty list, well, whoosh, wave it in. Okay, so those coins may beat somebody like Cardano, and that is, your market update.
I appreciate it so much. In that share screen, we'll bring you up. There we go. So I got to ask you, and everybody throw a one in chat right now for Bill, because we love having him on here. Crypto_Bill to find him online. I'm going to do a little recording here and release this as a clip later. So let's try to keep this as concise as possible. And everybody, if you haven't yet, by the way, if you haven't yet, make sure you head over to, not TradingView, but make sure you head over to, where's it at? Make sure you head over to where's it at?
It's time live.
Sorry about that. That was yesterday's Crypto Answered. Head over to BitLab Academy. If we get up to 220 likes, everybody hit the like button right now. If we get over 220 likes, I'm going to double the giveaway we're doing today. To enter, all you have to do is follow BitLab Academy Twitter page at Academy BitLab. Hit the retweet, hit the like. Do that now, and we'll be drawing here in a couple minutes. But throwing it back over to Bill, I got to ask you. Bill Noble, Crypto_Bill, I got to ask you a question here. XRP news came out yesterday. Markets are absolutely exuberant. What's the one thing you would tell everybody to pay attention to right now so they don't get trapped, but also don't get left behind?
Remember, Bitcoin is king. Remember, this is the dawn of crypto as money, not digital gold. That's money. Remember, XRP, it's not a security. So what is it? It's money. Okay, if you're talking about a revolution in foreign exchange, in currencies, if you're talking about being able to go to a currency counter at an airport and exchange dollars for yen, Swiss francs, or Bitcoin, we've arrived. The crypto community has arrived. And then, of course, the famous line is, don't buy the high or sell the low if you can avoid it. Don't get destroyed in the early days of a market where there's intense volatility. You still got to manage your emotions. That's how I would just bottom line it.
There couldn't be better advice out there in such a succinct way. So I appreciate you, Bill. Thank you for coming on. And everybody, if you haven't hit that like button, hit that subscribe button and ding that bell. We really appreciate you here. Everybody, every member of the BitLab Academy community and our basically family member of the BitLab now, Mr. Bill Noble. Thank you very much. Now, with that being said, is there anything that you got coming up? Or of course, we shared your Twitter. Is there any other things that you'd like to share with people before we move on to the giveaway?
Sure, I appreciate that. So it's at Crypto Noble on YouTube. Market update once a day. Our new experimental research is at Unhinged Crypto, right? It's Crypto_Noble on Twitter. And, pay us a visit.
Well, we appreciate you as we always do. And today it's fun to get on here and talk about bullish things and rather protection in a bull market rather than protection from further loss in a bear market. Man, this is just feeling good. Thank you for coming on, Bill. I look forward to seeing you again next week. And with that, I'll see you next time, Mr. Bill, and we're going to move on, continue on here.
Kelly, thanks for having me.
Thank you, brother. Everybody hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell, get it. Oh, we're at 162 likes right now. Get this over 220. Maybe if we get it over 200, I'll do it anyway, because I want to give that double to everybody, double giveaway. And to enter the giveaway, by the way, make sure you head over to the BitLab Academy page right here, the at Academy BitLab, hit the retweet, hit the like. This is how you get entered. We draw from the people that are helping participate in sharing the word about BitLab. I'm going to give a couple, about 2 or 3 minutes before we dive into the giveaway. I just wanted to point out, if you haven't yet, head over to bitlabacademy.com. Check out what we got going on here. We're working on a lot of stuff in the back end. We've already relaunched. It's basically, if you haven't seen it yet from months ago, or maybe you used to be a member, it's all new content. It's all video based. We have quizzes. We have tests. We've got a great BitLab Academy Discord, premium Discord, where I do weekly private member streams where there's actually not that many people that are actively involved on the live member streams, but there's about 30,000 people involved in the actual BitLab Discord. So there's a lot of different stuff in there, support, charts, signals, and I'm becoming more and more active in there as well. So get involved. You can still use, if you come over here to start your education for free, you can click on that or click on the top right where mine says my account on all pages. If you're not a member yet and you're not logged in, it'll say enroll now. This brings you to this page. Share this with your friends and family if they want to understand what blockchain is, Bitcoin is, basically get a crypto beginner's course and how, when you're looking at a chart, you know, what the heck people are talking about when they're talking about price action, RSI, stochastics, what is on-chain data, all that kind of stuff. If you want to take your education deeper, you can click right here. I want all access. This gives you all access to all of our courses, and also the courses that are coming, you'll have access to those as well. And you can use Give Me 30 at checkout for 30% off your first month. If you want everything, and by the way, we got some major updates coming to the BitLab trading stack, and I'll give you a little sneak peek there before we do the giveaway. You can get the indicators, a premium Discord, as well as all access to all the courses right here with the BitLab Pro. Sign up for that, and it is roughly a 30% discount you get every month. It's not just the first month. You can't use a Give Me 30 for this coupon code because you're already getting about 30% off, and it'll automatically apply every month. If you're already a member of just the all access, just the course part, not the indicators, you can upgrade right here. Or maybe you just have the indicators and you want the courses, whatever it is. If you're logged in and you add this to your cart, it will basically deactivate the other memberships and make it all consolidated one membership. So you'll end up paying less each month. That's how you do this right here. Now, with a little bit of a sneak peek of some of the updates we got with the BitLab trading stack, we have the BitLab Intelligence, we got the BitLab Volume. The BitLab Volume, if we actually come out of this, if we look right here, here we go. Let's come to Bitcoin. We can see here on the BitLab Volume, you see these green support blocks here. These are order blocks that are automatically printed from the BitLab Volume. We can also double click on the volume, come down here, go to show delta, and it'll tell you if it's buy or sell volume. You also have the point of control here. We got a lot of stuff that's integrated with the BitLab Volume here. I'm going to turn the delta back off. We also have this new oscillator that kind of combines and has a different look as from the multiple indicators that we would have on the screen from before. Now we have the BitLab Trend Fuel, which shows momentum and expansion of momentum, reduction of momentum. You see these green and red waves. Also, when it's starting to come back down, we have divergence auto prints on the oscillator. So not only do you have divergences on the chart here with these numbers that show you what the divergences are, we also have it printed right on this momentum. We have money flow, and it shows you contraction and expansion and money flow with these different colors. We're going to have a whole training profile on this, and this is not out yet. We also have an active order flow here, which you can turn on and off. There's so much going on in all this. And of course, with the BitLab Intelligence, we have some quantitative signals that we have in here that's basically show based on certain characteristics met when you have likely reversals brewing. We actually got that a little bit later here, but we see that this was sort of getting exhausted, which is why we have these reversal signs. We see this trend shift here. What happens, we come up here and we consolidate. We have another one here that on a push up, strong push up, gets rejected back down, consolidates. We've got it, and we're still tuning these a bit, but I mean, look at these signals: trend reversal, trend shift, boom, boom. That was just great call. From here, say you took a sell here or a short, here's another opportunity to get in. I mean, this is, I cannot wait to share this with you all. This is going to be rolling out in mid-August. So now is the time. If you haven't yet, here's your last chance. If you want to participate, we got 172 likes. Looks like we're giving away $100 and 3-month membership to BitLab Academy. If you're not a member yet, or you're already a member, either way, you can get this. We'll just delay when you're billed if you're currently a member. If you're not a member, here's a great opportunity to get in. So head over right now. You got about 30 seconds. BitLab Academy. Hit the retweet, hit the like. If we get over 200, we'll do 200. If we get another 28 people, 28 likes, we will double up, and we'll do 6 months and $200 if we get that up right now. Now I'm looking at the likes. Let me go ahead and log into, and I'll pull the data. This is the one right here. Okay, now we are logged in. Come over here to comment picker. Got to log into, where's it at? Log in with Twitter. Got 173. You guys don't want the giveaway. Well, I'll still give away $100 and 3-month membership. Now, let's go ahead. We're going to do today. We're going to draw from today first, and then we're going to do one more winner for 1 month BitLab Academy access. We'll do a random spin. So we'll do 2 giveaways today. Now, first off is today's. Let's go ahead and pull today's information. We got 175. We still haven't quite hit it. Where's it at? All right. Get the data. All right. This is for the $100 and the 3-month membership to BitLab Academy All Access. Who we got? Crimson. Awesome, man. I'm so happy we got one for Crimson. That's a great, and this is something, by the way, you can use, or you can pass this off to somebody if you want to do that. I mean, because I know you already have some special access, but I still want to make sure that you can win. But you got that $100 and the 3-month, and you can use it on your account, or let me know who else, and I'll reach out to you directly. Now, let's do a random picker. Random picker is going to be, what day is it going to be? I got Friday is a little larger. Let's go. Let's get it. It's going to be Monday. Okay, what tweet was Monday? Well, let's figure that out together. All righty, so this was Friday. Thursday. What was Monday? I can just look at the date. What was the date Monday? That's not what I want to look at. What was the date Monday? I'm pulling up the calendar. Okay, today 14th, so it's 10th. All right, on the 10th, that's when we're doing. 10th is right here. Okay, so this was a good one too. Copy link. Now we come back over here. This is going to be for 1 month. All righty. Get user data. 32. All right. Let's see. This is 1 month BitLab All Access membership. Alex Chrisen, or CR1. I'm going to snapshot that. Mods, if you guys can send me the 2 winners in the Discord. Special shout out to everybody. I really appreciate each and every single one of you, like beyond any way to really communicate it to you all. I really appreciate each and every one of you being there. I'm happy. I'm grateful to be alive. It is, as I said, my 20-year anniversary of my nearly fatal motorcycle accident. You know, I was in a bed for months, casting crutches 8 years, and here I am standing up for an hour and a half. You know, I traveled the world as a DJ too, dancing on dance floors for hours at a time. I'm just very grateful to be alive. I'm grateful to be here with each and every single one of you. So shout out to Crimson Caravan Company. Shout out to every single one of you that participate here on a daily basis. It's wonderful to be building this community, and I'm very honored to be here with you all. So without any further ado, big love. I appreciate you all. Over and out. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you for always tuning in. BitLabAcademy.com. Hit that like button, sucker.